The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondell.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Stage Door Show. Tonight, this is Dave Hondell. Tonight, I have a multiple award-nominated actor, producer, and writer who also happens to be an incredible singer. You've seen him star in the award-winning movie The Blind Side, along with several other TV and film appearances over the years. And we could not be more excited to have him on the Stage Door Show tonight, Mr. Quinton Aaron. Thank you for being with us, Quinton.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Oh, guys, stop. You don't have to do all of that. No,
the crowd goes wild.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, no, we're just so happy and honored to have you on. And I've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time. But you know, before we get into some of your film work and some of your TV work, I wanted to cover this because coming from the music world myself, you know, I know that you have a new single coming out called Lead with Love, and I was honored to hear it earlier today. It's just an amazing song. So talk about that single, and it's about to be released coming up soon, right?
Yes. I'm super excited. It's my debut single, actually. So it's like the reintroduction of myself, but as an artist. You know, this time instead of acting, which is cool. I've been singing all my life. Like I started singing when I was 4. Won my first talent show at 7, you know, and so music has always been a part of my life. It was my first love, and finally getting the opportunity to walk into this next chapter in my life musically it's amazing. You know, I'm so overwhelmed because I've had the privilege over the past 14 years to motivate and encourage people through the platform that the Blind Side has given me. But I wanted to figure out a way to do that musically as well, because I was like, if I do get into music, it has to make sense. So like I have a wide range of variety of music that I love to listen to, but as an artist, I didn't want to go the route of the songs that I listen to. You know what I mean? So I said, I have to do something that I can still be me, but, you know, introduce a different side of me. And so with Lead with Love, I actually wrote it at a time where there was just a lot of negativity going on. And much like today, it's still, you know, it's one of those timeless songs that I feel like can live on for ages because the world can never get enough love. And my mission is to make love viral. So I came up with the lyrics a couple years ago, and I teamed up with a buddy of mine, Greg Barnhill, who is a singer-songwriter out of Texas, Nashville. Yeah. And he does a lot of work with Tim McGraw, actually. So there's that connection and everything. He co-wrote the song with me, and we put it together. I finally got out to Nashville, did it in the studio, and it was just like, man, that's a hit.
Yeah.
You know, I think it has a message that people need to hear and should hear. And I feel like it's a song that people would love to sing along to.
Lead with love, make meaning of the verb. I'll soothe you when you cry, embrace you with my word. Lead with love, 'cause we are stronger now than we've ever been, and there's no better time to lead with love. Lead with love. Lead with love. I'm gonna lead with love.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, like, again, you know, just the words, the engineering, everything about the song. I mean, well produced, everything was just amazing. And like you said, I think right now more than ever, we need that kind of message. And, you know, coming out of COVID, you know, I think for the last few years, you know, people are kind of kind of finding their way again, after being quarantined for so long. Some people lost their jobs, some people lost their income, some people are doing different things that they didn't think they'd ever do. And I think now more than ever, when you're seeing the news, which is it's tough news to hear every night, but I think this is a great message, and it's timely as ever. And so just best of luck to that. And and then you also you're supporting it with a tour coming up, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We're putting together a tour. It's going to be a few different tours. Like, we want to hit all over the country, but this first leg is going to be up the East Coast. So from Georgia all the way up to New York. We're going to do it in August around my birthday, actually. So I'm excited for that. I'll get to bring in 39, doing shows up and down the East Coast, singing for, it's amazing.
What kind of venues are you hitting during the tour?
Actually, I'm just leaving all of that up to the team. I'm literally going to be surprised. I know some of the cities that we're going to hit, but I have no idea what's going to take place, where it's going to take place, how many people are going to be there, but I'm cool. I'm that guy that I'll show up, and if it's 3 people in the crowd, you're still going to get a show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And again, just best of luck with that. And, as I talked about earlier, I know people, recognize you from the movie The Blind Side. It's one of my favorite films as well. And, just an amazing role. And I know I've watched several interviews, and I know some of our listeners are young artists themselves. And, I don't know that they've heard this story. So I was hoping you could bless us with the story again of how you actually found out you got the role. And I understand that you actually were working at Silver Cup Studios and working where they filmed 30 Rock, and you got to see Tina Fey and all the other actors several times a day. And so talk about that story, if you would, just about how you found out you got the role, and about working at Silver Cup, and who you told actually for the first time.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though. So the day that part came to life, it was a lot going on. So just to rewind a little bit, about 6 months before that day, I had lost my mom, and she was the one who initially got me the audition for the role. And up until then, working at Silver Cup, that was the first job I had gotten all winter. So me and my brother was in the same apartment that we lost her in, and cold, dark winter, going to sleep at 6 p.m., trying to sleep through the night so that we're not up at night in a dark apartment. I remember walking back and forth to my aunt's house every day to get food for us to eat, and I was back and forth from court trying to keep the apartment as long as I could, because we literally had no money. And the last day of the job at Silver Cup Studios, I got a eviction call, like the sheriff's department called, and told me, I have 72 hours to get the stuff out. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I get paid today. I'm gonna go home. Me and my brother are gonna pack up whatever we need, whatever we could take, go get a motel and figure it out from there. So that was literally my thought process. Hung up the phone. Tina Fey starts walking down the hall towards me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Tina Fey! That's Tina Fey!" That's also, and I'm a big fan. I'm
right.
So she's walking towards me, and she's about like 20, 30 feet away, and my phone rings again. So I take it out of my pocket and I put it to my ear. I didn't look at it, and it's my manager. And she goes, "Quinton, guess what?" Now, it had been 1 year and 3 months since I heard anything from The Blind Side, but
wow, that long.
Yeah,
wow.
But yeah, I said The Blind Side. And she goes, "How'd you know?" And I said, "Wait, what?" And I screamed into the phone. And at that time, Tina's closer to me, and she's like, "What happened?" And she goes like the gesture, like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, I gotta call you back. I gotta call you back." And I hung up on my manager. And so that's when I told Tina. I told her,
wow,
I just booked the lead role in a major motion picture. Mind you, she didn't say that to me. My manager never said that. It was just, I hung up on her. But, Tina was like, "Oh my God, congratulations. Wait, I thought you were security." I said, "I was security, but now I'm an actor." And so she was like, well,
Wow.
congratulations. And then she went on about her business. And then I called my manager back and she gave me the rundown and said, they want to know if you still want to do the movie and someone's about to call to talk to you about it. And I was like, hope you told them yes. I was like, yeah. So we hung up. They called and was like, hey, we're getting ready to start production on The Blind Side. Want to know if you still wanted to be Michael Orr. I said, let me check my schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm open.
So they were like, oh, great. We can get you down to Atlanta as soon as possible and get the whole training process going. I'm like, define as soon as possible.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, well, the next day or two. And I was like, I can come tomorrow.
Right.
It was like, great, we'll get you down here tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I was just like, can I bring my brother? Because I kind of have no place to leave him.
Yeah.
He said, no problem. I'll get you 2 first-class tickets.
Oh.
We'll see you tomorrow in Atlanta. I hung up the phone, man. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
That is a divine intervention right there. Hey, everybody. This is Dave Hondell. I just want to tell you about one of the most honest companies I've ever dealt with. You got to give these guys a call if you have any issue with fire damage, water damage, mold remediation issues, or storm damage, and you're in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. So these guys are just amazing. Austin, Mark, and their crew at Restore Right. They're a 24/7 company. Call them at 917-460-6426 or go to their website, restoreright.com, which is RESTORERITE.com. Again, from water damage restoration to fire damage, cleanups, and repairs, they will put your home back together after a disaster. So give them a call at 917-460-6426. These guys are great. Wow,
Yeah.
just a great story about, how you got that role. And I think, just like I said, the movie itself grossed like over $300 million or whatever it was. It was huge. And just all the accolades afterwards. I mean, that just must have been for you a whirlwind of a time to be in that movie and be your first major role. I mean, how was it to walk on the set the first time and to just be with Sandra Bullock and Tim McGraw and all the people that were in that movie? It's just amazing.
Amazing. Like I think from the time I first met Sandra, I was like literally, I would tend to have these moments like, this is not real. This is not real. I'm dreaming. I'm going to wake up any moment, And so it was just funny. Like, random times I would be trying to take a picture of her on my phone, and then I like trying to sneak do the picture. And then I zoom in on her face, and she's looking right at me.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, sorry. It's just funny, but she made it so fun to work with, and she eased my nerves and made it we became like family. So it was just like an amazing once in a lifetime experience that millions of actors hope for, and I was blessed to get the opportunity to do it. And just the accolades from that movie they're still coming today. So I'm forever grateful and everything.
Yeah. And we have a lot of listeners that are artists themselves, independent artists. We celebrate indie artists and people that are just getting started, whether it's, singers, actors, directors, whatever they do. And, we always ask for, somebody to give, our guests to give a little bit of advice from what they've learned in their career path, and, what, some things they could avoid, or, what's your main piece of advice, I guess, for somebody that's just getting into acting and wants to, kind of do the same thing you did?
So I tend to go back to what my mom told me growing up. So when I told her I wanted to be an actor, she said, how do you know? And I said, well, I like it. And she said, could you do it every day for the rest of your life, even if you never made $1 from it? And I said, yeah, but I would hope to make money for it. And she said, well, that's the right answer. Because if you said no, then it's not what you're meant to do.
Right. She
said, as long as you know what you're meant to do, now you have to believe in yourself and your ability to do it, and just go out and do it. Yeah. Don't let people stop you by adding their 2 cents or their opinions, because you better than they do.
That's right.
And so it's the same thing. This industry, is tough. And it all starts in here. And it's like, if you have that belief in yourself and your abilities to do what you love, and it's truly what you love, just be consistent, be resilient, be I don't even know, like determined, motivated, encouraged, and just go out, be humble, always be humble.
Yeah.
And never take anything for granted, and just go out and work, do the work. It's such a fun process, the journey, and when you love it like that, you're not caught up in the glam of it. You're not caught up in, I want to just get to the fame.
Yeah.
You enjoy the process. You enjoy the project, like the development of it, the writing, the creating, the behind the scenes stuff, and how it all pieces together. So, for every inspiring actor or artist out there, if it's really truly your passion, endure the journey. Don't take it for granted. Don't try to skip it. Just endure everything that it encompasses, and be welcoming to the failures, because they're going to happen.
Yeah.
Be welcoming to the no's, because they're going to happen, but that's where you learn. Those are the things that we get knowledge from. That's how we learn, and it's all a part of the process, so nobody's perfect.
Yeah. And stay grounded, like you said, stay humble and grounded. Quinton, I know that you have a production company as well, Nomadic Leo Entertainment. And I wanted you to talk about that a little bit, because I know you already have a film that's attached to your new production company. So talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. We're in the process of developing, or pre-production, I should say, for our first feature. It's called Nothing for Christmas. And we're putting everyone together right now. The team is like rallying the crew, and I'm excited for it. I'm a big fan of Christmas time, the movies, the snow. I love snow. I love cold weather. I know I'm an odd I'm an odd Black person. I love cold. I'll be out there making snow angels. But one of my favorite movies growing up was Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
And
Good.
I always said I wanted to do a movie where it kind of like sheds a light on the two guys, like Harry and Marv,
Right.
like the two bad guys. But these guys, they have like a redeeming side to them. And so it's a movie, it's a Christmas action, adventure, comedy, whatever you call it, about these two guys who are brothers, and they get into a lot of trouble, dumb reasons, but their hearts are good.
Yeah.
And then when they try to go on the straight and narrow, something happens that just kind of sends them into a whole, you keep landing deeper in the quicksand when you're trying to get out.
Yeah, right.
So it's going to be a fun Christmas adventure. And I really wish that I can tell who we're going after, but I can't mention that yet. So
Right.
it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
So I mean, having the production company, I mean, this is something that's got to be kind of a dream of every actor, producer, writer, anything like yourself, because then you can pretty much control the whole aspect of putting these movies together, who you want to get, with the team you want to put together. And so that's got to be exciting for you to kind of have this role where you're kind of putting everything, like you're the executive producer, everything all in one, right?
Absolutely. It's a fun, again, like with the journey, it's a fun process of taking what I had up here and putting it to paper, and then watching it grow into this project that everyone can love and enjoy. That, and also as a big 6'8", 400+ pound guy, there's not many stuff that come along for me. I haven't really been called for a lot of things that I would watch on TV and say, oh, I would have been perfect in this.
Sure.
I don't think the industry most of the time thinks outside the box in that way.
Right.
So it's up for me to create the projects that I know I would enjoy, everyone else would enjoy, and I can pull off to show them, hey, I'm capable of this too, guys. I'm capable of that too, guys.
Yeah.
I'm funny, right? Yeah. I know you didn't know because you didn't ask, but here you go.
Yeah,
Take a
exactly.
comedy.
Yeah,
You know?
that's fantastic. I can't wait to see what you put out for your production company. The other thing, before we're done here, I want to ask you, this is something that's kind of close to my heart, is anti-bullying, and I know that you're very outspoken when it comes to anti-bullying messaging and
Yeah.
things of that nature. And so that's one of those messages that I always try to advocate for. And so talk about your your journey with talking about bullying, anti-bullying out there.
Yeah, well, I, oddly as it is, I'm 6'8", yeah, but I wasn't always 6'8". I grew up being bullied. As a child, I was picked on. A lot of it was mental, but when I was younger, it was a lot of physical.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing I remember is that, I was the older brother, so I didn't have an older brother to look out for me, and no father figure around to teach me how to defend myself. So I was always afraid, and I would run away. I would run, get chased every day. Some days I got caught, other days I got away, but it was just I'm surprised I didn't become a track and field star because it was a lot of running. And as I grew older and my size started to grow, then the physical kind of stopped because, I was the biggest kid in school. So, but and that kind of helped a lot, but I still had low self-esteem, no confidence, and that made me a target in itself. And so then the verbal bullying started, where the jokes would never end. And, I had a lot of things that kids could exploit to their advantage to make people laugh at me. And then, so how I dealt with that growing up is my mom was very, like, she was, all right, so first of all, just to give you an idea, my mom was Big Mama. My mom was like Medea before Medea was around. She's the type of woman that would come to the school and get in the kid's face that was messing with me and threaten to beat his behind all over the classroom.
Protecting
and then dare him parents. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, Mom, you can't do that. You're gonna go to jail. She ain't care. When they come to her baby, don't touch her baby. That's how she was.
That's right.
And when kids found out that she was like that, that kind of made them ease off of me a little bit, because she would randomly just drop by the school at times, and no kid wanted to be the kid messing with me when she came walking in the classroom.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, it kind of gave me a little break. But I remember one day in particular, I went home and I was sad. This day was some crazy stuff that happened to me, but I sat on the bed. My mom came in the room and she said, "What's the matter?" I said, "How come nobody likes me?" So the first thing she did was she said, "Well, let me ask you a question. Do you believe me when I say I love you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "And your friends, you believe they love you?" I said, "Yeah." "And your family, your cousins?" "Yeah." "Okay." Then she looks around and she goes, "Well, what are you talking about when you say, how come nobody likes you?" And I said, "Well, the kids at school." And she said, "Well, I just pointed out several people to you who's in your life, who you love and that loves you. So what does it matter what these kids at school, who most of them you probably don't even know their names, feel about you? What does it matter what they feel about you?" And I said, when you put it that way, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And she just made me think. It was like, she used to always tell me, you don't owe it to anybody to make them like you.
Right.
You owe it to yourself to be true to who you are.
Yep.
And the right people will come into your life when they need to, but you don't need to force everyone into your life. You don't need to force everyone to be around you, or to like you or to accept you. If they don't accept you, that's okay. It doesn't mean you don't have to accept them. You can love them anyway.
Right.
But just keep on doing you and doing what makes you happy, and don't worry about what other people feel about you. And it was, constantly having that message drilled in my head over the years, which got through the mental side of the bullying and the verbal side, because I realized that once I stopped feeding into what the kids were saying about me, they got bored with picking at me because it wasn't affecting me the way they wanted to.
Right.
And so I like to encourage the kids that I speak to that may be going through something similar. These simple, defense mechanism is just, do the opposite of what they're doing to you.
Right.
They're mean to you, be kind to them.
Kill them with kindness. Yeah.
You feel, never show it.
Yeah.
Never let them see you feel the way they want to make you feel,
Right.
because then they won't stop. But if they feel like it's going over your head, or you just don't get it, or you're just so nice, two things is going to happen. One, they're either going to get bored, or two, their moral compass is going to start to get them. Their conscience is going to start to get at them, and they're going to say, "This dude is nice. I should just really leave him alone."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I've had kids that tried to bully me, turn around and become my friend.
Right.
Because I would never treat them the way they treated me.
Sometimes they're not happy with themselves a lot of times, and
exactly
that's usually what it is. And once they decide that you're not going to give them what they want, then they're like, you know what, this is actually a nice guy. Why am I doing this? Right. So that's a great message, and I'm glad you speak to kids about that. Quinton, because I think it's one of the most important messages. And, unfortunately, you see young kids and teenagers, unfortunately, try to take their own lives, or successfully take their own lives, and over something that, could have been stopped. And, so again, great message on that. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And, my last question, and I ask everybody this, and, I just want to find out, when it's all said and done, Quinton, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to walk away with when they think of Quinton Aaron?
I would love to affect the world in a way to where I created more love than hate. When I walk away from it, I want everyone to remember me for the love that I gave, for the kind, gentle soul that I am, and hopefully I could be an example to how people become in their life, because there's a lot of followers, and the common thing is that they're following who they like. They're doing the things that the people they like are doing, and there's not that many people in powerful, influential, platforms that are doing the things that matter from the heart.
Right.
They're either doing what they love, or they're, doing what's popular, what's making them money. And a lot of that is hate-filled, it's agenda-driven, or it's political. And I'm just not that guy, I love God. I believe in God. I'm a Christian, and I believe in doing things out of love. And if people don't like me for it, that's not my problem, that's theirs. I pray for them anyway, At the end of the day, if I could affect change positively throughout my actions, I feel like that's a win, and I'll take it,
Absolutely. And that's well said. And, you're a great guy, Quinton, and just really enjoyed our conversation today. And, whatever you have down the road that you want to promote, you're always welcome back on our show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just loved having you on, and again, just Lead with Love, guys. That's the new single out. That's coming out the 23rd of June, and you can catch it on all streaming platforms. And you have again, the tour coming out as well, so be watching for that. How can they? Is there a website that people can go to keep up with you?
Right now on the social media platforms. We're working on getting a website up. It's not up and running yet, but I am on Instagram at official Quinton Aaron, TikTok at I am Quinton Aaron, Twitter at Quinton Aaron, Facebook I am Quinton Aaron. So I'm on all those platforms. It's actually me. I do it myself. And there'll be more to come. I'm gonna have my YouTube channel going up, especially once we get closer to the tour and getting ready to do stuff. We're going to be working on, hopefully later this year, we're working on a music video for Lead with Love, and a bunch of fun different things. I got a couple other songs that I want to do some videos to as well. So Yeah, we'll see. And I want to do like short film videos. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. It's the actor in me and wants to, yeah.
Well, it's in you, man. It's just everything good, positive going your way, and nothing but success to you, Quinton. And like I said, keep in touch with others. Anything that you want to promote, always welcome back on the show. And again, thank you for taking the time. It's really been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely.